Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to yet another episode of Rock Hard Ball. Once again, I'm Carter. That's Weezy. We're excited to get going here for episode 5. First time we've been back on a Monday in a while. We had Memorial Day weekend. We had some scheduling conflicts the last 2 weeks. But it's going to be back here on a Monday. First week having 2 episodes in a week in a while here, since the first week, actually. So that'll be good. And again, we're going to keep doing that as the, whatever year goes forward, as this, show just keeps going forward every Monday and Thursday, 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you join in so you can hear all of our wonderful takes. Today, we're going to be talking NFL news. Justin Jefferson just signed a huge contract, so we'll talk about that a little bit. There's some big headlines in WNBA right now. We're going to hit on those a little bit. And then we got some NBA stuff going on. A couple of current player and a former player arguing on Twitter. And then Weezy's going to hit on some NHL for us. And then we're also going to get into our NFC team season predictions. We're going to kind of make a little series out of this, actually. So today we're going to be doing NFC teams. Thursday we're going to do AFC teams. And then the next 2 weeks after that, we're going to go through the Power 4 conferences in college football, give season predictions. So that should be good as we kind of start looking forward here ahead to the seasons. Obviously, we're in a dead time right now for football, but we're going to keep talking it because, that's what we like to do. And finally, last thing we're going to do today is we're going to debut our new segment. That's going to be a constant thing now going forward. We've kind of already done it a little bit with our drafts that we've done, but we're going to officially name it and make it an official segment. So Rock Hard Takes going to debut today at the end of the episode. So make sure you stay tuned till the end because I think that should be a good time as well. And be a good time for all you guys to chime in and stuff like that as well. Before we get into all that, though, last time I kind of let off with this, so I'll lead off with it again. Nebraska baseball, unfortunately, wrapped up their season. They were the Big Ten champs, had a good season. I think a lot of people would consider that an overachievement. They were supposed to finish kind of middle of the pack, slightly above average in the Big Ten, ended up winning the Big Ten. Their second in the regular season, won the tournament, obviously qualified for a regional, like we talked about on Thursday. Unfortunately, though, again, they did not make it out of the regional in the Stillwater regional, as we talked about. They opened up against Florida, lost 5-2 back on Friday. Saturday, they played Niagara, and they were able to get a win out of that one, 7-5. And then, unfortunately, Florida's offense is just absolutely ridiculous. They lost 17-11. Jack Caglianone, I think that's how you say his name. That guy is nuts. He just hits bombs like crazy. He has 2 years in a row hit over 30 home runs in the NCAA, which is a lot. I think he was only the second D1 player ever to do that. So he's very, very good. I think he's supposed to go like top 5, if not top 3 in the next and the MLB draft year coming up. So very, very good player. And so Florida is going to move on to the Super Regional, but unfortunately Nebraska season's done. But good season to the Huskers. Again, we're here at Nebraska, so we like seeing the Huskers do well. But unfortunately their season is over. But now moving forward here into our topics that we had set up for the show today, we're going to lead off here with the NFL news, kind of like usual. We had Justin Jefferson signing a big contract extension with Minnesota. He goes up to 4 years, $140 million. So I think it works out to like 35-ish a year annual. And then 110 of that's guaranteed. And he's not only the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL now, he is the highest paid non-quarterback in the entire NFL. So a huge deal for him. We actually kind of talked about this a little bit last episode too. Nico Collins, Jalen Waddle got deals. Then we talked about, Jefferson was going to be coming up. And then we had some other big names too that'll be looking forward. Weez, what do you think about Minnesota, locking down Jefferson? And then also what can we maybe look forward to in terms of some of these other guys that have deals coming up as well?
Yeah, I like the deal. I fully did not expect it, but I feel like the money's right where it belongs. Now I guess we just see what CD gets because I think Jerry Jones will just pay him. I think he'll probably match it. I don't know. Do you think he'll make him the highest paid receiver?
I'm not really sure. I feel like matching's weird. Like I feel like you don't really ever see them like match a contract. So I don't know. I kind of go both ways on that because it's like Jerry Jones loves giving out money for the most part, loves keeping the superstars happy, stuff like that. But at the same time, you think back with Dak, they took a while to pay him. They did not want to initially. They eventually franchise tagged him. I don't even know if he still he's up for a deal again, I think, because I think we talked about him a couple of episodes too, didn't we?
I believe so.
Isn't he kind of in that group with like Tua and those guys? Jordan Love or to some new contracts.
I thought they just paid him recently.
I thought they did too, but I could have swore we talked about him.
In 2021, 4 years, $160 million.
Okay, so maybe they're just renegotiating, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, we had it back on our very first episode. We talked about it because Cousins, Mayfield, Goff got big contracts, and then Love, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, and then Dak could still see extensions this offseason, I guess. So, I guess we'll see what the Cowboys end up doing with CD and then maybe Dak, I guess, too. getting extensions. So again, just something to kind of keep an eye on here as we go forward. I don't know though if he goes higher than Jefferson, honestly, because it's like, I mean, I think Justin Jefferson's the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. So I mean, you kind of have that argument, I guess. But at the same time, CD,
He shouldn't make more, but who knows? I think Jerry would be willing to give him the bag. I don't know. I think you are though, right? I think it's going to be slightly less.
Yeah.
And then Jamar, is he higher or lower than CD?
I can almost, I don't know. That's a hard one because I feel like Jamar might I don't know. Those two are both pretty close. That's hard to say. There's probably a better chance CD gets paid higher than Jamar.
I agree.
Yeah, because just again, Jerry Jones, superstars he just likes giving out bags. So yeah, there's that. On a sad note for the Cowboys, one of their team legends and a first ballot Hall of Famer, Larry Allen, passed away unexpectedly at the age of 52 in Mexico today. So that was some sad news out on Twitter and stuff today. So rest in peace to Larry Allen. It's unfortunate news, but wanted to throw that in there as well in case anybody hadn't seen that yet. But I mean, I guess I don't really know if there's much more to hit on with NFL. Again, pretty dull time right now. So other than contract extensions and a couple of just random free agency signings, I guess Logan Thomas signed with the Niners today, if that's somewhat relevant. I mean, they had some tight end depth there in San Francisco. So I guess we wanted to include that. That happened. We got some comments here. Sam Johnson says Jamar has one extra year for the cap to go up. And then he says, I bet he gets paid slightly more next year. So that's definitely something that's possible too. I guess because he's a year after Jefferson draft classes. Yeah. But I mean, they always talk about it early because something just like getting it done early, and then it's easier.
Which is the best thing. Just lock them down now. If you lock them down now, that deal will look a lot better in 3-4 years than if you wait for that cap to go up.
Yeah, because if CD resets the market, I mean, the sooner the better. But I mean, he's also right. If they get more cap space, in the future, then that helps to delay it, I guess. So, that's kind of it though for contract talk today. We'll see what happens though going forward. Next thing we'll get into here, we'll go NBA next. Hot topic right now. Again, it's weird because we're in the NBA playoffs, but it's just kind of dead right now because the finals just haven't started yet. And we already kind of talked about that, so we're not going to just keep going on with that. But the hot thing today was Rasheed Wallace and Draymond Green going back and forth on Twitter a little bit about who would win in terms of the 17 Warriors and the 04 Pistons. So Rasheed Wallace said, we would have beat the shit out of them because for the simple fact they couldn't match up with any of us at any position. Steph Curry, not a defender. He would have had to guard Rip Hamilton. Draymond Green is too little. Sheed says the 04 Pistons smoke the 17 Warriors. So Draymond Green, of course, had to clap back, said, Sheed, we would have smacked y'all. Y'all scoring 72 points per game. That's not winning a half. And we putting you in them big-ass forces in every pick and roll. Let's see you move them feet. That one ring was great, though, big bro. We all appreciated it. And then Rasheed Wallace, also, we don't have it up here, but he eventually did come back and was like, saying that, good looks, Draymond, or whatever, like, like watching you, whatever, stuff like that. But a little interesting exchange here. Weez, I'll let you take it first. What do you think would happen if the 04 Pistons played the 17 Warriors?
No, the Warriors would smack them. Everybody knows this. He's right. I don't think they physically have the offense to compete with them. I know what you think. Who cares what Steph can't do as a defender? They would never be able to outgun them.
Yeah, I mean, if the 17, Warriors and I mean pretty much any of those Warriors teams, I mean, they're beating prime LeBron with decent supporting casts. Like I don't think they're going to struggle with the 04 Pistons.
By the way, you're saying prime LeBron. That was year 2 for him.
Huh?
You're saying prime LeBron. That's year 2 for him. His whole career's just been a prime.
Oh yeah, okay. But I mean, like 18 LeBron specifically was like different, and I mean the Miami and the Miami stint and the second Cleveland stint, I think is probably what you call his true prime, though, right?
Yeah, probably.
Probably starting like 09 Cleveland.
Probably started 09
to like 18 in
like 24.
Cleveland. Yeah. No, I mean obviously LeBron's ridiculous. He's been dominant forever. But yeah, I 100% agree. The Warriors would not struggle at all with the 04 Pistons. I mean, people argue over like the 96 Bulls versus the 17 Warriors. Like, have you ever heard somebody even try to argue the 04 Pistons were the 96 Bulls? It's like most people will agree that the Warriors probably beat the Bulls, like that 72 and 10 team. So it's like, why on earth would they not beat the Pistons?
Yeah.
I get matchups matter to a point, but
I think most people would also like admit that the Pistons probably don't win that 0-4 series 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, that too.
Like, they defeated a great Lakers team. They played unbelievable in it, but they probably should not have won that series.
Yeah, no, that's a great point too. Yeah, that's, I don't know. I mean, that was like a team that a lot of people, liked. I guess it's kind of two different sides, I guess, but it's like, the bad boy Pistons or whatever. I mean, not the bad boys, but anyways, yeah. It was a fun team. They were physical, whatever, but I mean, the Warriors are the best offensive team of all time, and probably the best team just overall of all time. So that's, yeah, I'm gonna go with the 17 Warriors. I think that's pretty cut and dry. But yeah, it's kind of the only thing going on in the NBA till the final start. So that'll be good once that gets going. Give us some more content there to talk about. Moving forward now to the women's side of basketball, WNBA. First time we talked WNBA here on Rock Hard Ball. So first time for everything here. Obviously, it's been a big storyline all year long. The whole vets versus rookies thing. So right now, the big thing is Caitlin Clark got just hip checked into the ground by Kennedy Carter in the sky.
Kennedy.
Is it actually Kennedy?
It's Kennedy.
They were calling her Kennedy on First Take when I saw it.
It might be pronounced Kennedy, but it's spelled Kennedy.
Yeah, I think it. I don't know. That's what I thought too, but they pronounced it Kennedy, and Stephen A knows best. So he actually caught some flack today on First Take. I don't know if you saw that clip, but again, from on top of this, anyways, we'll not worry about that. We're talking about something else. Anyways, so yeah, Sky Fever game. She just hip checked her, and then I think she called her like a little bitch or something too.
Yeah, something like that. And then Angel Reese was
got
up off the bench.
Yeah, she got up off the bench, stuff like that. So that sparked some controversy all over the place because obviously people have said the rookies just in general have gotten it hard here at the beginning of the season, but especially Caitlin Clark. So that led Pat McAfee today to talk about it. So controversial clip here from Pat. So we're going to go ahead and play that for all of you in case you haven't seen it. And then we'll talk about it a little bit here.
What? I don't know. I just, with my eyes, I couldn't see if she's Caucasian or not. So I think what we're trying to say is what the WNBA currently has is what we like to describe as a cash cow. There is a superstar. And we're not saying that the players on the court need to act any differently. That's the athletes are going to do what athletes are going to do in any sport. And I think we're all learning that WNBA, that's old school football, baby. That is old school football. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar. And is it because she stayed in Iowa, put an entire state on her back, took a program from nothing to a multiple-year success story? Is it because she would go on to break the entire points records in the history of the NCAA? Not just the women's record by Kelsey Plum, shout out, but also Pistol Pete Maravich's, the dude's record as well. Is there a chance that people just enjoy watching her play basketball because how electrifying she is, what she did, what she stood for, how she went about going what she went for? Maybe. But instead, we have to hear people say that we only like her because she's white. And she's the only popular because the rest of the rookie class is doing what they're doing. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. And we think the WNBA, more specifically, their refs need to stop trying to screw her over at every single turn. What you have is somebody special. And we're lucky she's here in Indiana. And that was, guess which, WNBA rookie.
All right, so there's that clip from the Pat McAfee show. Obviously, you can probably see why I got some controversial talk going there on Twitter.
Wild choice of words.
Yeah, wild choice of words there by Pat. There's also like an extended kind of version of the clip where he does like a whole PowerPoint presentation basically about how Caitlin Clark's elevated the WNBA in terms of like viewership and all that stuff. He actually made a lot of great points. He laid it out pretty well. It's just you can't
call her a white bitch.
Yeah. That was the thing that obviously sparked the controversy, was his choice of words, which sucks because like now that's all that everybody's talking about right now. But at the same time, like I just said, he actually made some pretty good points. I mean, obviously, yeah, she's a generational talent. She is bringing in a bunch of revenue, stuff like that. Because I watched the part where he like kind of went through some of it. Like she's had like 4 of the top rated games this season. The Fever games on average have like double the amount of average attendance as like any other
which like we could have told you this.
Yeah. Her jersey even would have been number 4 bestseller in the NBA, not even just the WNBA. NBA like stats, like bestsellers, she would have been number 4 still. So obviously, yeah, she's ridiculous.
It's jealousy.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say it, but it is. Yeah. She is the face of the WNBA. And there isn't even a close second. So like Angel Reese, I don't know if you saw, came out today. It was like, oh, I draw viewers too. It's like, sure, you
I think
probably
that's why he
do.
did this entire
Yeah,
segment.
it's like you probably do, but not even close to the scale that she does.
Yeah, no, obviously the whole rookie class was good. Brought in a lot of viewers. Yeah, I don't know. The whole
I
thing.
mean, WNBA allowed chartered planes this season.
Yeah, no, yeah, she literally brought
Because
some
of her.
planes. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy for sure. And again, that's I'm gonna keep going back to it. It sucks that like the clip of Pat explaining what happened isn't. I mean, we just did the same thing, but I mean, because this one just is obviously more controversial. It's gonna get people debating more. But again, yeah, he made some really good points. So it's unfortunate that that's kind of the way that it got taken and skewed. And again, he was wrong. He said that in a bad way. But again, that's just the way it goes. So that's what's been going on there. And obviously that's going to just keep being a hot topic. That's just kind of how it goes. Ethan asked chat, are we cooked? Chat might be cooked. Pat McAfee might be cooked. I saw somebody on Twitter say he should be fired. And I was like, they're not going to fire Pat McAfee.
Probably won't even
for
apologize.
saying that. No, probably not. But yeah, that was something pretty funny. Anyways, back to the rest of our kind of topics here that we got going. Last thing we're gonna do here before we start getting into our NFC team season predictions. I'm gonna turn things over to Weezy here. He's gonna take the lead on this one. We're gonna hit some NHL because full disclosure, I lack serious knowledge on NHL. So Weez, go ahead and take it away here as we head into the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, just quick recap. Edmonton defeats the Stars last night, so the world will finally be able to see Connor McDavid in the Stanley Cup Finals. They will be meeting the Florida Panthers. I don't know if you know this, but Canada's not won the Stanley Cup since 1993. It's kind of
Really?
like the laughing stock of the NHL right now. And then cool fact, not really cool. Ethan saying he hates the NHL. Kachuk and Tatum were both high school classmates. So
did you know that Stafford and Kershaw played baseball together?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Also, throwing it out there, two big stories here in the NHL that I've been tuned into. NHL superfan Brecky Hill and legendary streamer Jinxie recently broke up again for the second time. So shout out my boy Jinxie. Stay strong, brother. We're all in your corner. Just want to let you know that here at Rock Hard Ball, we stand with Jinxie. And then also, how about the clip of the chick at the Oilers game, huh? I mean, we got to hit on that real quick. That was that they have to win the series now, right? I mean, they're gonna win it all after that.
More people should probably watch the games now.
yeah. I think they just got a whole new fan base. Like I said, I don't know hockey, but I'm tuned in now. Yeah. So
she puts asses in seats too.
Yeah. Everybody got to tune in there for the Stanley Cup Final. You know what? Maybe I'll even watch it. You never know. But yeah, that was hockey with Weezy. So that's gonna do it for that. Last thing, I guess. No, we are okay. Sam Johnson said hell of a top shelf. Chiming in there on the hockey talk. Big story there. No, we're not going to talk about that, Ethan. Not on this one. That one might be a little bit too far. Actually, I think we might be hit on it last time, didn't we?
Hint on a Will Levis video that got leaked out there.
Yeah, I think we actually did hit on it last episode. So we won't do it again. We'll leave those two alone. I think they've had enough. Moving forward, we'll get into our NFC team predictions now. Based on time here, we'll probably do one division here right away to start, and then we'll probably do the next three, and then we'll finish up with the rock hard takes in the second half of the episode. So getting going here with the NFC East, lead things off. We'll go in alphabetical order here. So basically what we'll do is we'll go through each team, give you our record predictions for the year, maybe talk about a couple of storylines to maybe watch for them, and then we'll give you like our floor ceilings for them on how we think they'll do this season. So leading off here right away, Cowboys, I have them going 11-6 on the year. I mean, the biggest thing with them is just gonna, as it always is, can they finally just get over the hump and win some playoff games? And again, it kind of plays into the whole Dak thing. Is he good enough to elevate this offense in the playoffs? I mean, last year, obviously, they got embarrassed on national television by the Packers, being the 2 seed, getting beat by the 7 seed, who was like the youngest team in the NFL. They might have been the youngest team in NFL history, I think, to win a playoff game, if I remember right. They were the youngest or the youngest in Super Bowl era, something like that. But yeah, really embarrassing end of the year last year for the Cowboys. So they're definitely going to need to get things back on track this year. My floor for them, I think they could miss the playoffs if they just play poorly, I guess. And the way that they're just constructed, I mean, their roster is super talented. But I don't know, maybe it's just Cowboys bias, I guess. But for some reason, it seems like once in a while they just have a random fuck up in the regular season and just miss the playoffs.
I think unless there's a shit ton of injuries, I don't see them missing the playoffs.
I really don't either, but I think that in just like a catastrophic, like, again, like just true floor situation, even without like major injuries, I think there could be just a way that they somehow miss out barely. Like if it's a good year where it's like a lot of good records out there, I could see it. I don't think it's very likely, but just barely, I think that I could see it. Ceiling, they could win the Super Bowl. The roster's good enough. They're probably going to be the only person I have on this entire thing, NFC and AFC, that I think could legitimately miss playoffs and win the Super Bowl. So yeah, that's my prediction for the Cowboys. Go ahead.
I also had them at 11-6.
Okay.
Ceiling, same Super Bowl, but that's where floor was different. I think floor is probably what last year was. Get in and then just get your ass kicked round one.
Okay. Yeah. Giants, I have them going 5-12. Not a very good team. They need to move on from Danny Dimes. He's not good enough. I don't think they screwed up just paying him so much money because now it's tough to move on from him. But I just don't think there's a ton of hope for this team. For floor ceiling, I didn't even put a ceiling because they just don't have any shot to make the playoffs. So yeah, there's that. My prediction for the Giants there.
I had them slightly higher. I had them at 7-10.
Okay.
I think they'll have a sneaky, like, oh, we're not awful. Like, we're not going to, by any means, probably shock people. But I have them at 7-10. They could win some games. But again, yeah, no chance to make the playoffs. And they could win 2 games. I don't know.
Eagles, 12-5. I think they return closer to their early season form of last year than their late season meltdown there. Floor, I'm going to go playoff berth. Like, I think worst case scenario, they get in and lose in the first round. And then ceiling, Super Bowl, like champs.
Yeah.
So
I had them also at 11-6 right there with the Cowboys. Ceiling, win Super Bowl. Floor, I think they could maybe be the one to miss the playoffs.
Okay.
Just because of how bad last year ended.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think so, but who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. I just think that the addition of Saquon and stuff like that, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, whatever. Not too much of a difference there. Commanders, I have them at 6-11. I feel like it's kind of a tough team to predict. I don't think their roster is that bad. They obviously have some weapons there on the offensive side. The question is just how good will Jaden Daniels be early? And then I don't even know if he's going to start 100% week one. I know they signed Marcus Mariota, so there's a chance if he's struggling a little bit, in training camp, that he doesn't start right away. But I mean, if he's good right away, I think the playmakers in the roster are good enough that they could maybe make the playoffs as a wild card team. But again, floor and the most likely option is that they miss the playoffs and probably don't win a ton of games. So
yeah, I had them close to 5-12 for me. I just don't think Jane Daniels is going to be good year one. I think that division is just way too good.
Yeah.
Again, I don't see no shot they can make the playoffs. I think they could be bad enough to get that first overall pick.
Okay. So let's see here. 25 minutes in. We'll stop here for a second. We'll go to commercial here really quick. And then when we come back, we'll get into the NFC North, NFC South, NFC West. And then again, we have our new segment, Rock Hard Takes the End. So make sure you're sticking around for that. But once again, you're listening to Rock Hard Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network here at College Football Dogs. And we will be right back.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12-plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
All right, we're back. So again, quick little commercial break there. Thanks for sticking around. Pretty short, just a minute there. But again, we're talking NFC teams, season predictions. Just finished up with the NFC East there. So we'll continue here, getting into it in the NFC North. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's probably going to be one of the best divisions in football, if not the best, depending on how things work out. So it should be an interesting division. Definitely a lot of talking points here. And obviously, I'm a Packers fan. Weezy's a Lions fan. So obviously some personal interest here as well. Starting off with the Bears, once again, going in alphabetical order. I have them going 9-8. We said it before. They just scream it. They scream 500.
9-8 too.
Yeah. I mean, again, the question is here, how much does Caleb Williams elevate them in year one? Obviously, the roster is pretty good there. The defense isn't stellar, but the offensive line's still slightly shaky. But playmakers on the outside, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, signed DeAndre Swift, I guess, too. And then again, it's just Caleb Williams is going to come down to him a lot. How good is he in year one? Obviously, we all think that he's going to be a really great quarterback in the long run. Question is, again, how good will he be early? They have, a lot of good chances to win games this year. I think their schedule isn't terribly difficult. But again, the division's also pretty tough. So like, if they're in the NFC South, I could see them winning like 11 games this year.
I probably have them winning the division.
Yeah, I would have them win the NFC South. Yeah.
So let's talk ceiling for the North then.
What you mean for like playoff teams?
For the Bears, like what do you think?
Okay. So floor missed playoffs. Their ceiling, I think, is winning a playoff game. I don't think they can make a deep run quite yet. I don't think the roster's quite talented enough. And again, Caleb Williams comes into the year with no experience. It's very rare that we see a rookie quarterback make a run. Obviously, Brock Purdy's on one of the best rosters ever assembled. That's a little different. So yeah, I think they can get to the playoffs, and I think they can also win a game if they get the right match.
Okay, yeah, I said that they can make the playoffs. Sure, win a game. They're just not talented enough to win the division. I think.
Yeah,
I think you would agree with me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, everybody would say their floor is if Williams isn't good, yeah, they'll miss the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And there's even a chance that they go 9-8 and could still miss the playoffs because I think a lot of the NFC just got better this year. So there's going to be teams that are going to be competing for playoff spots, and so there's definitely a good chance that some 9-8 teams get left out this year. Moving on forward here in the alphabetical order, we're going to go to the Lions next. I have them at 11-6. Obviously, a very, very good team. They're probably, I think they are the second odds on to win the NFC this year. The only thing that's kind of a hold up a little bit with them is just a really tough schedule. They're playing the number one teams, for their whatever crossover games. And then also, like we just said, the division is just hard. Like they're probably a chance they drop a game to the Packers. They could maybe even drop a game to the Bears. So floor, I think they absolutely make the playoffs. I don't really see a scenario where they don't, unless like just shit hits the fan and injuries and shit. Ceiling win the Super Bowl. So
yeah, I have them at 13-4. My ceiling is probably 17-0, the greatest team ever. No, they can win the Super Bowl though, and then floor, I mean, like 9 wins. I want to say 10 though. But yeah, I could see the Packers and Bears both being really fucking good, and they drop some games in that division. So who knows?
Moving on to the Packers, obviously kind of everybody assumes and probably kind of knows it's going to probably be a 2-horse race in the division between the Lions and the Packers. I have them at 11-6 also. I think their schedule is just slightly easier than the Lions, again, just because the crossover stuff. And then I think if Love is as good or better as he was at the second half of last season, I think they could be really elite and win a lot of games. And then exact same thing. I think their floor is a playoff berth as like a wild card team, and I think their ceiling is winning the Super Bowl. So, but I mean, if we're being real, our floor is probably like 15-2, and their ceiling is probably 17-0. So,
no, I have them at 10-7. I think their ceiling's probably like what the Lions was last year. I could see them maybe getting to the NFC Championship. I think they're still maybe a year or two away. Floor, maybe miss playoffs depending on how good that division and conference is. But
yeah, I don't know. I really do think that the roster is good enough to win a Super Bowl this year. But I guess we'll see. Again, a lot of it kind of just hinges on
so you have
how good
both at
Love is
11-6. Who wins the division then?
I mean, I didn't really go into that, like in terms of like tiebreakers and stuff like that. I don't know. 2, I guess. There probably is more likely though that the Lions end up winning more regular season games. I could see that for sure. Ethan said comical. Ethan, I know Ethan personally, and he's a Bears fan. I don't really know how you think that's comical. I mean, I think we're being pretty generous there with the Bears. Like, I think
Bears fans would be very happy.
Yeah, they're above average team. If they get into the playoffs and win a game, I think that's a really good season for a rookie quarterback. Cass, my brother, says Packers floor is 16-1. Love gets COVID for a game.
Pretty sure COVID doesn't exist anymore. So,
is that over?
Yeah.
Is it cooked? Chat. Let us know if COVID's cooked. But yeah, I 100% agree with Cass here. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. We all know they're greatest team on earth. So
it's finally the year they're going to drop a game to the Bears. Trust me.
They might. It's definitely the most likely. It's been in a while, but I don't know. Still kind of own them, so we'll see. But I don't know. I'm still really hitting hard on. I really hope
the owning thing's funny.
Back
I can own your team if I wanted to.
Huh?
I could own your team if I wanted to.
Well, that'd be a great honor for you if you could. Yeah. I hope you can get a share because then you can put it on your Twitter bio and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hopefully we can nuke that stadium while we're at it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, back to business here. Let's finish up with the team that I think most people believe is going to be the worst in the division, the Vikings. Still not a bad team. I felt like their record was really hard to predict because I think so much was just dependent on quarterback play. What are they really going to get? So I went 7-10. I honestly think that might be a little bit generous to them. But I think they could really struggle and lose a lot of games if Darnold's bad and they try to play McCarthy and he ends up not being very good either, or just not ready, obviously. There's definitely a chance they could end up winning like 4 or 5 games if they struggle with quarterback.
I had them at 5-12.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think they get swept in the division.
Definitely.
I don't think
definitely highly possible. Yeah, I 100% agree. As for floor and ceiling, I think their floor, obviously missing the playoffs and again winning like 3-4 games, and then their ceiling, you never know. I think that there is maybe a small chance that if either Darnold somehow has a career revival, like a Geno Smith type thing, comes in somehow is really good all of a sudden, or again if Darnold just struggles like the first couple games and they're like, fuck it, let's play JJ, and he's just like, Tom Brady, like comes in, wins games, then yeah, maybe they can make the playoffs. Cass said Vikings ceiling is keeping a preseason game close.
Yeah, I think they're ceiling 7 wins.
Yeah.
So what you had them at, and then their floor is first overall pick.
Okay, yeah, I could see it. Again, though, I mean, you never know. You never know, though.
Not see JJ coming in and
no, I don't either. But I'm just saying. I think their max ceiling could be making the playoffs. I don't know. I could see a universe where they somehow just get really good quarterback play from him.
Yeah, it's
and
like
make it happen.
Goff, Love, and Williams all get season long COVID.
All right, fair enough. Moving on to the NFC South here. Falcons first up here. Pretty, I think, well known that they're the favorite to win the division. The Bucks maybe could compete in this division, but obviously we'll get around to it. Falcons, I have them at 10-7. I think Kirk makes them a good team, but the roster still isn't really elite.
I had them also at 10-7.
Floor, they could still miss the playoffs. And then even like if Kirk stays healthy, I could definitely see some situation where they just go like 8-9, 9-8, just a bad season. But I think it's almost like guaranteed that team wins between 8 and 11 games. I don't really see any other like range for them. And then ceiling, making the playoffs, maybe could win a game. They get the right matchup and Kirk has a good game, stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of what I had for
floor, miss playoff, ceiling, same shit.
Right.
I'll be winning game.
Yeah, pretty cut and dry there. I feel like with the Falcons, I think they're pretty
cut and dry with the whole NFC South.
Yeah, that's true. Panthers, I mean, we all know they're going to suck again. Not a good roster. Bryce Young looked pretty bad last year. Hopefully it improves. I mean, it's always good to see guys succeed, stuff like that. But yeah, on my notes, I basically just have, even if Bryce Young's better, most likely won't be enough to see significant improvement. Again, I had him at 4 wins. Absolutely won't make the playoffs. Could have potential to be in the number 1 slot again. So
here's my shocker. I have him at 7-10.
Really?
I think like 0 games on national television. I think it's gonna be like week 4 and be like, holy shit, the Panthers are 2-2. I think they're gonna surprise some people this year. They'll be all right. Again, floor though is the same. They could be awful again and get that number 1 pick, and they have 0 chance of getting into the playoffs. I think 7-10, shockingly okay.
I mean, their hope is that they play in probably the worst division of football, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I could see it again. If Bryce Young ends up, just really improving, taking a big leap here in year 2, then maybe that changes things a little bit. Saints, I have them at 7-10. They're a subpar team in a bad division. Floor, missed the ceilings, missed the playoffs. Ceiling, if Derek Carr returns to 2016 Derek Carr, maybe they somehow get into the playoffs. So, but I have in parentheses a lot needs to go right. So.
Yeah, I have them at 6-11. Yeah. I'll just say their floor and ceiling's probably +2, -2.
Yeah,
in terms of the win category. I could care less about this team.
They're pretty boring. I thought about putting just your classic, just very, very average team, but then I was like, well, no, they're still bad, but they just play in a bad division, so that'll help them a little bit. Buccaneers, team that a lot of people liked last year. It's fun to see Mayfield's resurgence. Obviously, he got paid this offseason. Good to see. I have them at 8 and 9. The division just got tougher, basically, just with, again, Bryce Young goes into year 2. Maybe the Panthers are a little bit better and can steal a game. The Saints, again, aren't awful, but they're also not good. And then, of course, the Falcons just got a lot better by just adding Kirk Cousins. So, again, 8 and 9. Floor, obviously, missing the playoffs. Ceiling, though, I could still see them getting in on a wild card spot. Or if, something goes wrong with the Falcons, they're obviously next up to win the division. So,
yeah, I have them at 9 and 8. So, flip-flop there. I still think they're a good team. They were in the division last year, so I have them a little bit higher. I think their ceiling, they could maybe win a playoff game. floor would be miss playoffs too, but I don't know.
Yeah, the only team in this entire division that I think really could see like fluctuation, like in terms of like what could really happen this season, is the Panthers. Because again, like you said, they could obviously be just awful again, have the number 1 pick, or if Bryce Young ends up being good, maybe they have win 7 games, something like that. But yeah, Bucks I feel like are just going to win between like 7 and 10 games. Falcons probably win between 8 and 11. Saints probably win between like 5 and 8. So yeah, pretty small margins there for that division. Next one up though, NFC West, last one here on the docket. Leading things off is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Again, I think we've both talked about this. We're a little bit higher on the Cardinals than I think like Vegas is, and just the general public. I'm at 8 and 9. Again, I think they're better than people think. Their schedule's fairly easy. The floor is missing the playoffs, and I think ceiling they could get in, maybe even win a game. So
I have the exact same notes jotted down. So I don't think they could win a game in the playoffs, but I definitely could see them getting that last 5 card spot.
Moving on to the Rams. I have the exact same record, actually, 8 and 9. I think they're a tough team to read. I feel like you probably have a lot of varying opinions there. There's still talent there, but there's holes all over the place. At the same time, who knows what Stafford's going to be like? He's hurt all the time. Kupp's now had some injury problems. Floor is missing the playoffs. Ceiling, I also wouldn't be shocked though if they get in and win a game, maybe even 2, because once you get in the playoffs, that experience could come into play. Obviously, there's still a lot of pieces there from that Super Bowl run team. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I have them 9 and 8. I think the talent itself will take them probably to above 500. And I'm probably same ceiling, same floor. Ceiling, you're right. Like they have experience where if they get in, they could easily win a game or 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. Next up, 49ers, I think universally seen as the favorite in the NFC. I have them at 13 and 4. I think they're the best team in the conference on paper, in terms of like the roster and stuff like that. Their floor is winning the division. This is the only one where like I put the floor as being an actual division champ, because like NFC South, I could see the Buccaneers still beating the Falcons in that division. Obviously, NFC North, I could see going back and forth between the Packers and Lions, and then NFC East between the Cowboys and Eagles. This is the only one where I'm like, I do not see any way that any other team other than the Niners, like unless they have just absolute, asteroid hits the earth and everybody on the team gets hurt, I don't see a way they don't win this division. So floor winning the division and ceiling obviously winning the Super Bowl. So
yeah, I have them slightly under 12 and 5, ceiling Super Bowl, floor probably win the division.
Yeah. Seahawks, final team here. I have them at 7 and 10. Again, kind of a weird team to read because they still have good players in that team. They still got a good wide receiver core. The defense has got some nice pieces in the secondary, stuff like that. But I literally just wrote down definition of mid. If Geno can bounce back though, have a good year after the injury and kind of just struggling last year a little bit, could definitely be a playoff team though. So you had floor missing the playoffs, ceiling I could see them getting in, not winning the game.
Yeah, I actually have them at 5 and 12.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, so I think Pete Carroll leaving probably going to hurt a lot. First year Mike McDonald. I think Geno Smith we're probably done seeing him play decent quarterback play.
Yeah, that's the big thing that's why I said that there's a hard one to read, I think, because
I think their floor.
If he is somehow good again,
I think their floor could be like really, really bad, and just say, what, screw it, we're just gonna go for draft capital here, and then ceiling. I think miss playoffs. I don't think there's a single chance Seahawks get in.
All right, well, Geno Smith's gonna prove you wrong, just like he did a couple years ago, Weez. So we'll see.
I'd hate it if he does.
All right, well, that's our predictions for the NFC. Again, we're going to do the AFC here on Thursday, and then we'll eventually get into some college and stuff too. But yeah, that's going to do that for the NFC team predictions. Now, finally, we're around to our new segment. So basically what we're going to do with this going forward is just each episode, we're going to pick a topic basically, and we're just going to kind of go back and forth. Sometimes it might be drafts. Sometimes it'll be just kind of listing stuff off. So for today,
feel free to chime in.
Yeah, absolutely. Chime in on this. This is probably the best part of the show to chime in on, really. Give us your opinions, give us your takes, give us your rock hard takes. So today we're going to be doing the most annoying just fans, I guess, kind of in sports, whether that's a fan base, group of people, a type of social media, stuff like that. So let us know who annoys you the most in terms of different like fan categories, I guess, stuff like that. So this one, we're not going to do a draft or anything. We both just kind of wrote down a list, and we're just going to kind of fire back and forth here a little bit. Just kind of talk about who's annoying and why they are annoying. So, Weezy, you can list your first one off first. Go ahead.
Actually, you go.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you gave me 1-1 in the draft. So
all right. Well, this isn't a draft, but
oh yeah, I know, but just courtesy.
All right, so I'm gonna start off here. My first few are gonna just be like normal fan bases of just teams, and then I'll get into some of my other ones. But first things first, they can all go separately as well, obviously. But a lot of times you kind of see them together. The Cowboys, Lakers, Yankees conglomerate. I think most people would probably agree that the Cowboys are the most annoying fan base in the NFL. The Lakers are the most annoying fan base in the NBA, and the Yankees are the most annoying fan base in the MLB. And you also happen to see a lot of people that just like all of them because they just bandwagon on all three of them, and so that's why I kind of put them all together. Yeah, they're all just annoying. They all were good historically, but they all suck now. Well, not suck, but they don't win big anymore. And they're all just still annoying as shit. They never shut up. So
I think I'd want to add a team to that too, probably because we just live near a lot of them, but the Chiefs are getting there.
a little bit, yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of Chiefs fans that piss a lot of people off.
Which
probably dates back to the whole debate of like everybody
hates winners.
Hates winners.
I could see a little bit because, I mean, I don't know. That one's always tough when it's like a team that's just recently won and it's like been successful lately. It's like, well, like no shit, they're gonna talk because I mean they're just the best team right now. Like they're gonna brag about their team. They're the fan of their team is the best in the league right now. They're gonna talk, but it's like the reason these ones piss me off because they haven't won anything lately.
But they have the history where it's so big. All right. For me, my first one, I'm going to take NBA old heads. I just can't stand when a 6-year-old tries to tell me like, oh, well, John Havlicek's better than this Devin Booker guy. No, he's fucking not. And no planet is he a better basketball player than him. I can't stand him. Let it go.
100% agree. NBA old heads are annoying as shit.
It's like the game gets better year in, year in, you know?
Yeah.
The guys in the 80s could not play in today's game.
Well, that's why the entire GOAT conversation just sucks too, because it's like it's a completely different game because guys just have better training now. They eat better, they train better, they're just better athletes. So obviously, if you took pretty much any team probably from this generation and even go back like 30 years and drop them in, they're gonna beat every single team because they're just better. But it's like at the same time, you just have to compare era to era. Like that's really what we should do. Just a GOAT of each era. Because it doesn't work. But yeah.
But that even pisses me off more because it's so obvious like eras are better than other eras.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, yeah, physically the greatest basketball player of all time, the best player to ever walk the earth is LeBron James. Like I think that's pretty known. But it's like at the same time, Michael did dominate in his era. Like at the point where basketball was at that time, he was way better than everybody else. So that's where that whole conversation gets hard, I think. It's like it's just
I think so, but
you just shouldn't compare it to
hard to like say like players today are better than they were in the 90s.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with that. But that's why I'm saying like that's why we shouldn't even compare them because it should just be a universally known fact that players today are better. That's why I don't like that. I guess you don't. Why don't you agree with that?
I don't know. It's like tough to put words on it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's like there just shouldn't
be. It's like if you're
I'm saying don't have the debate because the debate's useless because they're just better players.
It's useless because it should be clear cut. It's like if players today are better than they were in the 80s, well, then I'm going to take the players today.
Yeah. I don't know. Cass said, oh, hell no, coming at us old heads. All right. Cass, who's your GOAT? Let us know.
Bob Cousy was a stud back.
Gonna pull out Wilt. Anyways, moving on here. My next one, again, my first couple largest fan bases. So kind of boring, but next one, Duke basketball. Again, I think pretty universally hated. They're just annoying as hell.
Always one white guy you just can't stand.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing too. It's like they always just got one guy on the team that's just the entire country just hates him. And again, it is again same thing. Like they're just usually good, which doesn't help. But at the same time, their fans are just annoying as hell. It's like it also just makes it so much harder too when with some of these teams because like they have so many fans that just have like no connection to the team at all, and it's like they talk so much like that almost makes it more annoying sometimes. I feel like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's probably 2% of Duke's fan base that like grew up like close to Duke or like went to Duke. You know, if that even.
I get the point, but I also don't. Like, there's so many people who didn't graduate from like top school.
I'm not saying like graduate even, but it's like
or not
have some type of connection though. You know, it's like I mean you're a Michigan fan.
Yeah,
your dad grew up in Michigan.
Make it the same point though. It's like you grew up watching Duke basketball. You're a fan. Your dad makes you watch them. You're now a fan.
Yeah, I guess to a point, but still weird. Cass's goats, Andre Iguodala. So it's probably a good call. Max Kellerman probably agree with him.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Finals MVP for holding Braun to like 35, 12, and 12.
Yeah.
Next one, I got that friend who's just a D1 hater and roots for all like against every single one of your teams. Like
Yeah.
fuck that friend.
Yeah.
Just an asshole. I don't know if you have any like that, but
Yeah, you. I'm just kidding.
that's
but
what
yeah.
I was actually going to talk. It's like if like my team's in the same division as your team, I'm gonna root for your team to lose.
Yeah.
But just assholes who don't care, but are like, I don't want to see your friend happy. All-time scumbag move.
Yeah, that shit's annoying. I agree with you there on that one. Last one I have here for just a team fan base. Ohio State football. Kind of similar thing to just Duke basketball.
I can agree with that.
Their fans just never shut the hell up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to really go into much more depth because I've kind of already said the same thing for the last two. So
yeah. Okay, back to me. I'm just gonna say the entire state of Boston. I just can't stand Boston sports. They win a lot. It pisses
fair
me
enough.
off.
Yeah. Kind of.
And they're known racist. Like, are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I think that doesn't get talked about on Twitter a lot. So definitely a talking point. My next one, I'm gonna go with NBA Instagram. If you know what I'm saying by that.
Yeah,
it's
everybody's like, oh, you're just a box score watcher. It's like,
yeah, no, it's just it's very nice because like Twitter's a little different. Like, because I feel like it's just more geared towards like sports talk too. But it's just like every time I open the comments on an Instagram post about like the NBA on Instagram, it's just nonsense and just so much. There's so much going on in there where it's like just at least like on Twitter, it seems like guys are kind of like debating and stuff like that.
Actual debates, then porn.
Yeah,
yeah, all it is.
Yeah, and then don't forget about just the random like history video too about like I don't know, some country like the development that
history
you get to.
vids that go hard, shit like that.
Yeah, but yeah, no, NBA Instagram very very tough to read sometimes. So
yeah. Next one, I'm gonna say Brits who get mad at America for saying that we're world champs. Like, you make an NFL roster then. Bring them over.
Bring them
You're not
over
gonna
here.
fucking win. Yeah, we're world champs. I probably just my hate for Brits just altogether, but yeah, Brits who despise that. It's stupid.
How do we feel about the football versus soccer debate?
It's football versus soccer. No, it's actually probably mostly also like baseball. Like, I know there's a lot of hot topics in baseball. It's like, well, there's a reason why every single great Japanese player comes here.
Yeah, because it's the best league in the world.
Exactly.
Well, hey, at least Noah Lyles though saying that just had the USA create the Avengers though for this year's Olympics, so that's good.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, next one I'm gonna go another NBA one. NBA fans are just annoying, I guess. We have a lot of those, but
outside of the NFL, it's like by far the most.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Probably the most hostile too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think they're definitely a lot more just confrontational and just random arguments over like just stupid shit.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm getting to here is the NBA fans who we've had the whole travel carry thing in the NBA forever now. That's just how the NBA works. It's never going to change. They're not going to just all of a sudden start calling those little half-step travels that you guys are catching in those highlights that you think you're like some expert ref. Shut up. No one cares. Like every single video that's a highlight, it's like, man, that's a sick video, but he traveled. Man, that's a sick video, but he carried.
It actually even gets worse when then there's that one goddamn nerd who's like, well, actually, if you look at the rule book, that was actually a gather step. It's like, shut up.
Yeah, no, the whole just debates on the comments on those ones are just the worst. And that kind of, I guess, ties back into the NBA Instagram because like there's a lot of that on there too. But yeah, that's my next one. So
all right. Coming up next, I have baseball fans who need to remind everybody that it's hard to hit a baseball. Like, no shit. Like, yeah, none of us can hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. We know. You don't have to tell us about it. And then the amount of times they're like, oh, well, if you fail 70% of the time in baseball, you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Cool, I know. It's a hard fucking sport.
Well, just want to make sure you know, because next time you start talking shit, Weez,
no,
they're
it's
gonna
like
let you know.
If anybody talks shit about baseball, they have to remind you how hard of a sport it is.
Yeah.
It's like, no shit.
Yeah, no, I can get behind that one for sure. Next one I'm going to go with is when you're like watching a game with somebody, and especially if your team is playing and you like care about the game, and they have a $2 bet down that they're just stressing over, and they're not even watching the game. They're sitting on their phone the whole time, just refreshing box score. Purdy his next 10 yards yet? Purdy at 10 yards? That's annoying. That pisses me off. So that's my next one.
I don't like unit shaming either, but like, yeah,
no,
if you bet $1,
like
I'm rightfully not going to care.
Yeah. Well, and then again, especially it's like it's even worse when like if I'm watching the Packers, play the Cowboys in a playoff game, and if somebody's sitting next to me like stressing about
like the over, and it's
and it's like you're gonna win like $3. It's like, dude, like, yeah, like rooting for your bet. Well, yeah, sure. I hope you win your $3, but at the same time, let's just shut up a little bit. Like when especially if you're like rooting for like the team that like my team's playing and you have no other interest other than your bet. It's like, okay, I want my team to win. I'm kind of locked in here, so let's shut up about the bet for a little bit.
Yeah. All right. My next one, I think they might actually be the worst. Dudes bring up politics and sports. Like I guarantee you, I'm not watching LeBron James play because of his political views.
Yeah.
All right. So don't bring him up. I watch him because he's goddamn unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like, oh, I can never watch the NBA. It's like, oh my, I don't care.
That kind of goes hand in hand with the NBA old heads.
Exactly. Yes. But I can't stand them. It's like, I'm not watching the NFL because of Harrison Butker's personal beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm watching it to just see guys play football. So this is my last one that I have. This one goes kind of similar to my last one. It's fans who only talk about their bets, and then also fantasy teams during the games too. It's even worse like with that, I feel like, than the bets, because it's like the guys really sit down. It's like sometimes it's like, are you even a fan of football? It's like they'll be watching their favorite team. And it's like, I need him to score me more fantasy points. Like they're rooting for a guy on another team to score a touchdown to get fantasy points. It's like I will every single day of the week take my team winning over me winning my fantasy matchup. Like I don't care about it at that point. Like obviously, yeah, I'll root for my fantasy guys in other games, but it's also just like the constant, like every single drive. Oh, did he catch that drive? Oh, did he score that drive? It's like, just drop it.
Like, yeah, like they make a catch, like they're showing on red zone, like, ooh, 1 point.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's like,
cool.
Yes, let's go. Yeah, no, I don't care. Just watch the game. Keep to yourself a little bit. If your guys going nuts, then sure. Be like, man, this is crazy. But yeah, let's shut up every single time.
Especially like when the player that they're like closely watching is like a not good pick. Like, yeah, like if it's like your backup running back, you're like, oh my god, why does he only have 22 yards? It's like because he's not a good running back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't care to hear about it.
100%.
My next one, I doubt you're really involved in this, but it's mainly on like baseball Twitter. Dudes who will only talk baseball and like advanced stats.
Yeah,
it's like, well, actually, average doesn't matter anymore. Like, what's this guy's expected FIP? It's like, shut the hell up. Like, I get there's advanced stats that truly dictate like a better picture of a player. Like OPS is huge, WAR. Average still means something. Don't tell me it doesn't.
Yeah, you're still putting the ball in play and getting on base.
Yeah,
so
it's like if you're a nerd who knows every advanced stat, it's like I don't care what you say or believe in. Yeah,
kind of going along with that, I don't know, I have it written down. And like I get it, it's annoying and stuff like that. And I can't remember if we talked about it on here before, but the people who like constantly freak out over the little strike zone box that they show on the TV for MLB games, and like it's like, okay, yeah, we get it. It's a computer that the ump missed the call that was half an inch outside the strike zone. He called it a strike.
Yeah, like
you would have no idea if they didn't show you that.
Yeah, if it was an egregious miss,
yeah,
I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, it's different. If you could have been able to tell without seeing the box.
See, I'm not gonna lie.
To a point,
I am that fan though.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's like a 3-2 count.
Yeah, exactly. It's like especially if it's your team playing. Yeah, you're gonna be pissed. I get it to a point, but it's like it's the guys who are just constantly obsessed with it. It's like, oh my god, give it a rest. So yeah,
I get what you're saying, but I am that fan, so I won't talk much on it.
Yeah, but no, that's one thing I've really enjoyed about like Nebraska's like running like the college baseball. I think it's honestly just a little bit more enjoyable to watch the games because it's like without that box, because then you just don't worry about it. You have to trust what the ump said. It's like, I don't know. I kind of like it.
I guess. But you also like want to know where the zone is.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. And then also it's like, I mean, if an ump just sets up a zone for the entire game, as long as they're consistent too, it's like,
yeah, consistency, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's going to call low all game. Yeah, adjust to it.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. But yeah, if it's scattered everywhere, that's when issues arise.
100%. Do you have any more? I'm out.
I'm out.
All right. Well, with that, that's today's edition of Rock Hard Ball. Thanks you guys all for joining us again. Excuse me. We're gonna be back again Thursday, of course, at 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Once again, we're gonna do the AFC teams and then I guess whatever else we got going on. So yeah, make sure you tune in for that. And without further ado, that's gonna do it for us here at Rock Hard Ball. Again, I'm Carter. That's Weezy. That's your Cultural Dogs, and we will see you next time.